So I went to uni first. I went to Oxford Brookes. I did marketing management and performing arts. It was a very random joint honours, but I was like, well, two things, half sensible, and
half what you want.
And I actually, during that process in the first year, some graduates had left the university and set up a theatre company, and had seen me in a show from some graduates that had put on, and asked me to tour with them and go on this tour.
Wow.
So it was like a first professional show, essentially.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. And we did Edinburgh Festival, and like we got nominated for some awards, and it was great, like a really cool experience. And I then got an agent off the back of that, who wasn't very good, but like at least introduced me to the industry a little bit, and we're getting castings every now and then. And so I was at uni at that point, and then was like, okay, I definitely want to do this.
Yeah.
And then spent, like my third year auditioning. I think I auditioned for 3 drama schools. For the postgrads, particularly, I didn't do any 3 years because I was like, I can't do another 3 years. Yeah. And it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So auditioned to, a few, got into 2, and I chose Mount View, and it was in North London. And also my sister had just finished a 3-year, and maybe I'd been, in my mind I was like, it kind of felt familiar. And so she just graduated, and I was about to start the postgrad, and it was like a 1 year, and it was a good postgrad, and we had a really talented year, and like such a range of people. Like I was one of the youngest and went up to 40.
Wow.
I'm still friends with a few of them. Stanley, who was in my film in I'm Super, who plays a guitar, he was there. So he was one of the older guys. He was like 39 when we were there.
Oh my gosh.
And so then had like the best year, just like doing everything that I wanted to be doing, and met some cool people, and was just like learning my trade that I like loved. So it was just so much fun. I loved it.
And from that point, so you had this amazing time finishing up school. From that point when you graduated, I'm assuming some people are I don't really know how it works. So you graduate, and then what's the ideal next step for yourself after you graduated?
So, everyone wants an agent. So that's kind of the focus. So you have your showcases at the end, your final shows. So you're sort of building up towards that. And I was lucky. I got an agent. And actually, it was the agent my sister was with, who was a good agent.
Yeah.
And I'm still with him today. I actually went with other people for a bit. I was with him for 6 years, and then came back to him fairly recently, and he was great. But yeah, that's your focus. Like, get an agent, and it's hard. Like, unless you're at the top drama schools, you don't always get the best people, and it's such a fickle, strange industry, and you won't necessarily. And also, getting an agent doesn't mean anything. If anything, it made me lazy. Because I was like, I've got an agent. I don't need to go out there and hustle. And that's what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Like, no one's just going to give you work. It's a constant hustle. So that was an interesting thing, like leaving drama school and then this like space. And, I'd kind of trained to be a personal trainer to pay my bills. And I was really into martial arts and would kind of teach that. That would kind of be my niche, or do boxing and got into like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, MMA. And so... yeah, that was kind of, I'd be doing that for a while, and trying to like hustle and get jobs. But it was an interesting like build up, trying to get to the end of your year and then going, okay, now we're like released on the world, and it's an industry. Like they just churn people out, and so you're just like, what's going to happen? Who knows?
Did you ever question if you belonged there, or if you?
Yeah, I think you always. I think like, look, unless you're very lucky and you you come from, not many people come from like a family of actors, right?
Yeah.
I had my sister who was discovering this world at the same time.
Yeah.
But our family weren't from that world. And so, yeah, you feel like a fraud all the time. But I think people feel like that anyway in everything. So I think that's natural. You know, you're always questioning. And it would only be when I got a job and I was working and I was doing stuff and was like, you know, directors you were getting good feedback from directors. That's when you're like, oh, okay, yeah, this is great. But it's hard, and there's never like there's never any you never know like the longevity of it and what it is, and one thing they teach now, which they were not really doing when I was at drama school, you sort of kept in your lane. You were either an actor or you were a writer or you were a director, and like they didn't really love the idea of you crossing over.
Interesting.
And I think that's changed massively now.
Yeah.
And I think in every sector, it's really like smart to be entrepreneurial, right? And think about other aspects. And I'd always been keen to write. And so when I left, I was always trying to write like plays and always trying to, and so writing was something I found quite quickly and gave me another outlet and gave me some control. But yeah, I think finding your like your place of I think you do, like it's kind of normal to feel a bit out of your depth, because I don't know, you'd have to be super confident not to. You'd really like it to be like, no, I've got this, and I you know, like now I'm tell myself it's like, no, I've got this, but like, you know, it's
that you're still always like,
I think it's good. I think it's healthy to be a little bit like, okay, because it makes you do the work. It makes you like dig in and go, right, I need to do the work.